Jemima Khan, the former wife of the cricketer turned politician, as they say. What's the latest? What's the latest you've heard about Imran?
Latest I've heard was that overnight they moved him to another jail. He had been in a jail in his hometown of Lahore, and because there'd been large protests outside the jail, led by his sisters, who were then subsequently arrested too, they've now moved him to a jail in interior Punjab somewhere, and there's obviously much less access. And I'm not actually even sure what the name of the jail is or where particularly it is. I just know that they bundled him into a van, put handcuffs on him, and 12 hours later he arrived at a new jail.
Oh, I see. And the charges were a shock, weren't they, too? I mean, they were rather swingeing terrorism charges.
Yes, he's been charged with state terrorism, which is a non-bailable offence, so the object, I assume, is to keep him silent and in jail for as long as possible. But obviously it also carries the death penalty, so it was shocking that he's gone to such lengths to keep Imran silent.
Did you expect him to be arrested? Well, he had to be found first. He was found at the student.
Yes, I wasn't surprised that he was arrested. I knew in advance that he was going to head the protest in Punjab, so that wasn't a particular surprise, but the charges a surprise, and the relative brutality with which they arrested him. I mean, I've now heard reports that he was beaten before he was handed over to the police by students. I've heard that he's being kept in solitary confinement. He hasn't got access to lawyers or visitors. So that's come as a shock, but not the actual arrest, because we knew if he came out of hiding he was likely to be arrested, along with anyone who opposes army rule.
Is there a danger of torture or not?
Well, there's a danger because we've heard of instances where other people who've been arrested, including lawyers, have been tortured. There's a lawyer called Etzaz Essen, who is another very vocal opponent, and he's apparently, I've heard that he's been tortured in one of the jails. So it's obviously a worry whether they dare do it to Imran, because Imran has such a kind of high public profile, particularly in the West, internationally. So I would hope that they wouldn't dare do that.
And in terms of the boys, Sullivan and Cassie, I mean, how much of all this do you tell them?
Well, I had to tell them. I had to tell them that he'd been arrested because it was in the newspapers and someone was bound to say it at school. So my younger one's pretty oblivious, and my older son is anxious and distracted and definitely has taken it on board. I mean, I tried to make light of it when I tell them, saying, oh, look, all Pakistani politicians go to jail.